Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Writers Corner live show. We connect authors to each other and we help readers find new authors to love. Now, you probably already have your favorite type of book, whether it's fiction or non-fiction, but you never know. We may just introduce you to your new favorite genre to love, or even help you discover some books that don't fit into any of the other traditional genres. Here on the Writers Corner live show, you will meet seasoned as well as new and aspiring authors. Some of our seasoned authors will share their tips and tricks of how to get published right the first time. On the Writers Corner live show, you get to hear the backstories straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So join us live for the insider scoop. Our writers are both traditionally published and self published. So let's find out how that came about and how it has worked for them. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Brigitte Limbanda from Cape Town in South Africa, and I'm going to welcome my co host, Mary, onto the screen with me. And hello, Mary, how are you?
I'm great, Brigetti. I am Mary Elizabeth Jackson. I am in Tennessee in the United States and doing very well today. It is a wonderful day. You and I did a show yesterday about special needs. We have a whole conversation we're carrying on Mondays from now on at 9:30 a.m. Central. And so see where that is for you in the world in the time. So you can join us next Monday and the Mondays following. And today is World Autism Awareness Acceptance Day. So I'm sporting my blue, and actually my shirt says faith. I forgot I had this. I looked in the closet this morning. I knew I needed to wear blue, and it's so cold outside here. I went, ooh, hey, look at that. So I was excited to find that. And I wanted to share that at school this morning when we walked in, they had the red carpet rolled out. Really, it was a red, like long piece of paper, a sheet, sort of like, and they let all the kids walk in, and the children cheered them on and took pictures. It was just the sweetest thing ever, celebrating kids with special needs and disabilities. I wish all schools could do that. We need more schools like this in the world, don't we?
Oh, yes, we absolutely, absolutely do. And it's wonderful that they are teaching the children from a very young age. I think that for me is key. The fact that they are teaching the children from a young age to have this amazing value,
Oh my
um,
gosh.
to
Yes.
celebrate the lives of everyone and to be fully inclusive of children on the spectrum and not to make them feel different, but make them feel that their lives matter and that what value they bring to society, to the school, to everyone is of huge value. So I love that they creating awareness even at such a young age.
Oh, absolutely. We have to start them young. It's harder work when you try to take kids and change them after they're set in some of their ways and understanding and upbringing. So yes, definitely starting young is amazing, and it's so I just love it. It's so beautiful. I welled up with tears this morning. It was not something I knew. I knew we were celebrating. I just didn't know how. And of course, my little guy grabbed my hand and he was looking at me like, "What's going on, Mom?" Because he's very shy around people, but it was just so precious. And I actually am going to contact the local news today about doing a story on it, because it'd be great for this to be examples for other schools to follow. It'd be wonderful. And, I know we have a great guest coming on. We love what she does and what she stands for. And I know one of the things she wants to talk about, I actually have an article that is on Instagram today on a blog called Om Mama. And I love Kristen. She's just an amazing woman. So I had the opportunity to discuss things like what Irene's going to talk about. She's going to discuss being kind of worn out as a caregiver for someone with Alzheimer's and dementia, which really is a disability when you look at it, because they're not able to do things they normally could anymore. But as a parent with children that have special needs, we end up really kind of burning ourselves out sometimes and sacrificing. And so
Right.
self-care is very important. So I'm really glad she's going to talk about that, because it kind of, everything kind of comes full circle. It all plays in together. So
Yeah, absolutely. So our author for today, and I see Corinda's asked in the comments what our book is about today. So our author for today is Irene Frances Olson, and her book is called Requiem for the Status Quo. And Irene writes from passion and experience. So this is an amazing book given the topic. She says that she was her father's caregiver during his struggle with the Alzheimer's disease. She previously worked in memory care, so she was not new to the disease, but still it's very interesting to hear her perspective, even though she was in the healthcare industry. And she says that she hopes to make a difference in the lives of others by writing novels that encourage, that support those who might need another person in their corner. Her fiction book is based on her personal experiences as her father's caregiver. So should we bring Irene onto the show and join us?
absolutely, yes.
Irene, hello. A warm welcome to you. We are so pleased to have you back on the show again.
I'm thrilled to be here. It's really a privilege. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Irene.
Irene, so your book is called Requiem for the Status Quo, and you write about your experiences with your dad as his caregiver.
Yes.
But as a means of introduction, tell us a little bit about your background because, I have a big thing about about caring and caregiving. Generally, a hospital will tell you, well, there's nothing we can do. This is the diagnosis, and take your patient home, and they literally throw you to the dogs for want of a better experience because not every single mother, daughter, child, parent, spouse out there has got any form of medical training or training in psychology, and they literally are just thrown into the deep end and told to swim or sink.
Right.
Those are your choices, and literally it's one person
Mm-hmm.
usually that
Mm-hmm.
picks up the paddles, and they're paddling like crazy. And
Yes.
if they don't paddle carefully, they're going to become so exhausted that the boat's going to come to a standstill, and that's not a very good option.
No, it isn't a good option. And as you indicated, prior to my father being diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, I worked in assisted living and memory care. And the difference is, yes, I had all that skill, I had all that knowledge, but when it's personal, it's different.
Mm.
When it's personal, it's like the rubber meets the road, and all of that knowledge helps. But when it's someone you love and who loves you, it makes it more difficult to apply that textbook, if you want to call it, knowledge. And as you indicated, so often in caregiving, whether it's for someone with a dementia or cancer or whatever the case may be, even someone who's down with a temporary flu or a cold, it's kind of like you are learning as you go. And so I consider caregiving really a learn as you go type of experience, especially
Mm.
when the person you're caring for has a disease or a sickness that is so difficult to deal with. And as you deal with it, you become more and more exhausted. You become more and more convinced that you can't do it all, but you try to do it all. And that's one of the themes in my novel, Requiem for the Status Quo. That's one of the themes that I address in it, where the solo caregiver, as you said, Brigitte, oftentimes it's a solo caregiver. The solo caregiver feels like nobody else could possibly do what I do, so I'm just going to do it all. And that's not good advice at all. There was one excerpt, and I'll read it, it's brief. Colleen, who's the main protagonist, the main person in the character in the novel, she goes to visit her very good friend, Pilar. And Pilar is one of those friends, and everybody needs them, who's not afraid to say it like it is, who's not afraid to say, I notice you're run down, let's talk about it. So in this particular scene, and I'll also indicate, in the novel, Colleen's brother, Jonathan, he's kind of following on the path of denial, which a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. If you don't acknowledge a particular situation, it doesn't exist. And we all know that's not true. You're deceiving yourself. So Jonathan, her brother, isn't helping her at all. So Pilar's talking to Colleen. And here's the dialogue. Pilar says, why you? Why do you feel you have to be the responsible one? And Colleen responds, well, duh, I'm the only one available, other than my sister-in-law, and she just recently climbed on board the caregiving train. Her friend Pilar leaned back in her chair and she says, oh, I get it. You like being a martyr. And Colleen says, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just doing what needs to be done. And Pilar, rightly so, says, right. And because you always take care of everything, no one else has a chance to help out in your stead. And that was kind of a aha moment for Colleen, where she realized she was doing it all. And it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you involve perfect strangers in your life to help you. But if a neighbor, you're talking over the fence and a neighbor says, I'm going to the grocery store. Oh, before you go, could you please get me this? I need this. I can't possibly take Susan or Dad or Melody, whoever, with me to the store. It would be too much trouble. So you engage other people to help you. It doesn't mean that you're neglecting your duties. And that's what happened in this conversation. Colleen said, but if I assign tasks to others, doesn't that mean I'm not a good daughter? If I can't do it all, doesn't that mean I'm not a good daughter? And Pilar, her friend, said, I would never accuse you of that. And anybody who knows you would never accuse you of that. So it's that whole thing, and it's a very trite saying, but on an airplane, they always say, with regards to the oxygen mask, secure yours first before you help your child or someone who needs your assistance. Because without that oxygen in you, you can't help that person who needs that oxygen mask. And caregiving is emotionally and physically draining. So whenever you can ask or engage somebody else to be a part of that journey, I highly recommend that you do that.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And, Irene, it's interesting how the full circle of life happens from caregiving our children to caregiving our parents or relatives. And it really is pretty much a lot of the same thing. Yes. Because mentally they go back to that childhood, that, little baby toddlerhood, wherever it is that they are. But it's interesting because I have found that a lot of times caregivers tend to get into nobody cares, I'm doing this on my own, they're out having fun, la, 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 la. And we never know the struggles that someone else may be having. And it is our duty to, I know we want to be Wonder Women, right? But we need to share that. Hey, could I just get some help? I mean, I was raised by a mom who took care of all three of us. So I saw her do everything. So in my life, it's made me think I'm supposed to do everything because that's what I grew up with. And, I've tried to share with my stepmother that because she is the sole caregiver of my father because we all live so far away. So then there's the guilt that goes with that, with not being there to be able to help. But sure. I've had to share with her what it's like to be a caregiver, because it really is a lonely world sometimes. And that's even with a newborn baby. And all you're doing is nursing and cleaning and pooping, and you're lucky if you get a shower, and you're talking to the walls. And, if a live person comes in, like it, just delivers a package at the door, you're like, oh, come inside.
Yay, and another adult.
Yes, a live body, Right. So it's very, it's amazing what happens to us as caregivers and what we go through. And
And I
we're
want
all
to,
three moms, so
you bet. And I want to interject for those listening. Um, when you know of someone, whether it's a neighbor or a coworker, a friend, or even just a casual acquaintance, my suggestion, you know what they're going through. My suggestion is always to not just say, let me know if I can help, rather than just say, let me know if there's anything I can do. Come up with real offers. For example, is there anything you need from the grocery store, as I indicated earlier? But have that person, that acquaintance, please, all of you, friends, acquaintances, and even family members, ask your person who is involved with caring for someone, do you need anything at the grocery store? Or, it's weed season. The weeds are just popping up like crazy. Do you mind if I'm going to be out in my grungy clothes today? How about if I weed your garden for you? Or how about if whatever, just fill in the blanks, to actually offer concrete suggestions, because the caregiver, if she's like Colleen, if she or he is like Colleen, will say, "Oh no, I'm fine. I can do it. No worries. I'm not totally out of milk. I don't need you to go to the store." They're unfortunately sometimes the caregiver, again, with that superwoman or superman attitude, even when someone offers something, they may say no. But they're more likely, the caregiver is more likely to accept assistance if the acquaintance, the friend, the neighbor is saying, how about if I do this for you? Because then that gives the caregiver freedom to say, oh my gosh, yeah, I could really use some weeding in my front garden patch. Otherwise, the weeds are going to be taller than the flowers. Just give them, all of you out there who are not currently carers or caregivers, please offer a concrete gift to the person that you know is struggling with something. And I guarantee you'll make their life better. It
You
won't
Absolutely.
take
know,
away their troubles, but it'll make their life better in that moment.
Absolutely. Feeling supported is so important to all of us, isn't it, Brigetti? We all want to feel supported, whether we say it
yeah,
out loud or not.
you are
Absolutely.
totally nailing it. I love it when we have people that give real practical suggestions, and that's exactly what you're doing today, talking about your
Mhm.
book Requiem for the Straightest Quo. Um, Irene, it is amazing. Your advice is just so spot on. It's so practical. I want to just reiterate what you said there. If you are a family member that cannot be hands on, if you are a neighbor, if you're a friend of anyone who's in a position that needs assistance, don't say to someone, call me when you need me, because that person's never going to call you.
Right,
You know, it just doesn't happen. You have to be
right.
specific, like Irene just said now. I'm going to the grocery store. What can I get for you? I'm
Yes.
going to be cutting my lawn now. And when I'm done, I'm in my work clothes. Can I come around and cut your lawn? So
Absolutely.
it's got to be very, very specific. These
Mm-hmm.
vagaries don't work. Vagaries are not encouraging. Vagaries, it's too much. The carer has got so much on their mind that for them
Mm-hmm.
to try and think of what someone else can do for them is simply too much.
Yes.
Right.
You're asking too much of the caregiver to now think, hey, you know what? John could maybe do that for me. Mary could do that for me. Peter could do that. It's too much work. Your mind is so filled to the brim. You don't have
Yes.
the energy or the time or the inclination to figure out what other people can do for you.
Exactly.
So
You're
that's
so correct.
a great thing.
Good. I'm glad that could be of a help. And I really hope that those listening and watching um, take that suggestion of mine and of yours to heart, and don't be afraid. The person who said, if you're offering to do their lawn, the person who needs their lawn mowed isn't going to say, well, that was rude. that was rude that they noticed that my lawn needs to be cut. No, they're not going to think that or say that. The person needing their lawn mowed is going to say, hallelujah, thank you. Thank you. You're going to take one thing off my list of things that I have no time to do. They'll be very, very grateful. Or even dusting in the house, or cleaning the floors, vacuuming, whatever the case may be. The smallest kindness can make a huge difference in a person's life.
Yes, but the person wanting to help needs to, sometimes we got to push a little bit. No, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm coming over right now. I'm going to do it. Don't say anything else about it.
Right. Sometimes you do
It's
need
like,
to push.
And sometimes it can be family members or a neighbor. But, one of the things that's very frustrating as a carer is when somebody arrives, you're already exhausted as it is, and they expect you to make a cup of tea for them and now sit and entertain them.
No. Man.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
So you're visiting someone, you come in there and you say, right, where's the cups? Where's the tea? I am making tea. And you allow the carer to sit down and have tea with you. Don't expect the carer to be entertaining you. They don't have the energy to do that.
Right. That's not a time of entertainment. It's a time of socializing because you're there for the person, but it's not a time for me as a carer to cater to you. You're here, I'm just going to say it, you're here to cater to me. So do it.
Yeah, right. And hopefully you have friends and family that are open to that and go, oh, let's do it. Okay. You know? So, I mean, I've had that happen where I was tired and we ended up having people over for dinner and I'm just like, wow, I just had such a long day. And, I love having friends and family over and socializing and I love that warmness and I want them to feel that way in my house. But there are sometimes I'm like, okay, I can't do this right now.
Well, you have nothing left. Your tank is empty.
Absolutely. Food fills it up, but I'm just like, do I have to smile? Do I have to talk?
I know. Ladies, you're not going to believe this, but we are out of time. I cannot believe the time's gone by so quickly. Irene, we are going to have to have you back again.
Thank you so much.
There's so many gems that we can share from your book. But what you shared today is an important aspect of caring and caregiving.
Well, I'm glad I could provide
that. We really
that.
need to have you back again. Please tell people where they can find your book.
Absolutely. My book is available primarily on Amazon, of course, as everything is. Whether it's books or toilet paper, you can get it on Amazon.
That's right.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And if you want to find the latest updates about what I'm doing as an author, it's my name, www.Irene, Irene, Frances, Frances, Olson, OLSON.com.
Okay, wonderful. And they find you at All's Authors.
And at All's Authors, which is a wonderful group of authors who have written about their personal Alzheimer's and dementia experiences. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Allsauthors.com.
I needed to reach out to you last week about situation with my father-in-law. So I will, when I get time in the next couple of days, I'll reach out to you with some questions.
We look forward to that, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you both so much. This has been amazing. I cannot believe the time went by so quickly. We need to do an hour show.
Yeah, I know. We keep saying that, but then nobody seems to want to sit around for an hour, even though we have such great things to talk about.
That's all right. You're doing a wonderful work, and we all appreciate it. Those of us who've been on your show certainly appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, it's been an honor. It's almost been a year since we started this. And I can't even believe it. And every interview to me is so exciting. Excellent. Because I love who we get to meet. I love making that connection and learning about people. People are so interesting, and what your journey is and what you're doing in life. And we need to celebrate that. It's very important to celebrate each other. So
everybody has something to offer, for sure.
Oh, I just put that in my interview. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much, ladies.
Bye.
Irene, thank you so much. Please wait for us in the green room. We'll meet you back in the green room in a moment.
Sounds good.
Mary, that was another amazing show. Mary, who's our guest for next? Who's on for next week?
Okay, I am going to tell you, it is Laura Sinclair Baird, and we had done an interview with her previously, and the audio was really bad, and there was a lot of interference. So we have rescheduled her. I'm super excited about having her on because she's just either won an award or has her second book coming out or something. So exciting stuff, and we'll have to see what she's up to because everybody's up to something, aren't they?
Absolutely. So that's our show for next week, and we hope you'll join us back again next week, same time, and we look forward to seeing you then. So from me, Brigitte Lamband in Cape Town, South Africa, it's goodbye for now until next week.
And from me, Mary Elizabeth Jackson in Tennessee in the United States, it is goodbye for now and have a blessed day.